soldiers dressed for the wedding. Fuck the fame. Ask why, tell them I'm loyal to the king. Until the righteous reign. Loyal to the king. I walk that straight lane to break the chain. Loyal to the king. Them devils can't have me, bitch. I'm loyal to the king. That's right. Bring that hot flame, new bitch. Hey, loyal to the king. Until the righteous reign. Loyal to the king. I walk that straight lane to break the chain. Loyal to the king. Them devils can't have me, bitch. I'm loyal to the king. Bring that hot flame, new bitch. Hey, loyal to the king. We bout to bombard they whole operation. Certified priest, prophesying this my occupation. This shit outrageous. They done made the truth docile. That's why we on the corner crying aloud, looking hostile. It's UPK style. Can't stop now. Far as this warfare couldn't last one round. Let the oppressed rise, and let the rich mourn till the sundown. Enough with these chickens. About to make it hot, call it compound. This for my niggas, put the guns in the drugs down. Dwelling in peace till the Lord call for the blood hail. Try to decide my death, ain't got beside yourself. Swore drawn for what you perform, how you gon' hide yourself? Devil's got to die for his lies and events. Ain't got no love for them crackers, nah, just cruel intentions. And then my father's house is spinning mansions. I got plenty bitches. Worthy of vengeance, this your death sentence. I'm talking to you. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter. That they do not rise. Go in and fill the world with lies. Ain't die for your skin, you gon' die for your crime. That's right. I'm talking to you. So warn for your life. Your life try to destroy my people. You gotta pay the price, nigga. You gotta hear, let them hear. Tell them devils that the end is near. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah. Now they shook from vicious words out this handed book. About to take these rappers back to school. My flow standing hook. They crossed the line, ain't no coming back. You became no cowards. The only thing sweet is the honey check. Righteous is the Lord. Give me rest from my sorrow. And hand down death for them devils. There's no tomorrow. Why? Cause they violence leave a man a stiff corpse. You see a flag in a bench, I see horns in a pitchfork. Go ahead. So please believe it, the white man is a demon. And I ain't gon' vote for them to free me. No. They beat us till we the color purple. That's why this knife to their throat like ceiling. You got this nigga on his knees. They wanna have peace. We screaming, let this bitch burn at 1,000 degrees. I'm laying in the bosom of revenge. I told her I'd do anything she please as I squeeze on the double D's. Fuck you mean? I'm talking to you. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter. That they do not rise. Go in and fill the world with lies. Ain't die for your skin, you gon' die for your crime. That's why I'm talking to you. So warn for your life. Your life try to destroy my people. You gotta pay the price, nigga. You gotta hear, let them hear. Tell them devils that the end is near. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah.
The police just shot him for no apparent reason. No reason at all. They asked for license and registration. That's the police officer over there that did it. With the black on. I can't really do shit because they got me handcuffed. I can't believe they just did this. I'm fucking back! Ah!
It's okay, I'm right here with you.
any man give his life for Yahweh Shai, Mashiach, and Christ, and fall up under that UPK banner, is my brother and my blood, and I will die and kill for him if necessary.
Go to ground, 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 go to ground.
It's all about that warfare, boy.
Give ground, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground.
It's all about that warfare, boy.
Take ground, 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 take ground.
My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down.
Take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground.
My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down.
Take ground, take ground, take ground. Now this ain't no movement, this a takedown. We will not be moved or intimidated. We ain't the type. You got a problem, tell them cross the fucking line. My niggas ain't polite. Soldiers to the left and right. I die for every man body. Before I be a coward, I'd rather be a dead body. This will be my kingdom when the hour pass. You can either get with it or get flipped like an hourglass. We live by honor and no excuse. Just sit the prayer up to the Lord. I told him, then let all the terrorists loose. Hold your tongue or get rebuked, cause you made a truce. With a race that made merchandise out of my abuse. Scared of who? You got your gun, then pull it. Me and my niggas start to argue, it's about who gon' bite the bullet. It gon' take ground, take ground, take ground. Opponents better move slow. Attack dog for this truth. Nigga, cool yo. Go to ground, 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 go to ground.
It's all about that warfare, boy.
Give ground, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground.
It's all about that warfare, boy.
Take ground, 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 take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Oh, thought you could cross us with no consequence, but you will pay dearly. You should've used your common sense. My zeal lit, that mean you could never prevail. Hey, where the truth sit, hey, where warriors dwell. Be wise with them weapons, cause I promise. My nine just like my wife, she concealed, she modest. I know two things, a robber will not prosper. And any man harm me and my aunt, I'm gon' meet the doctor. Cause this life is warfare, it's not an easy walk. Been watching my people die so you can miss me with that love talk. My UPK soldiers, any man try to cross your path, make him regret it. What that mean? Fall on his ass. Comparing me to you really ain't no contest. Long live one West. Say what? Long live one West. This for those who thinking we ain't ready for. Tell them back up. I'm about to drop something heavy for. Go to ground, 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 go to ground.
It's all about that warfare, boy.
Give ground, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground.
It's all about that warfare, boy.
Take ground, 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 take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down.
One West till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. I be one West to the death till they bury me. One West till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. I be one West to the death till they bury me. I be one West to the death till they bury me. They ain't scaring me. Rip the soul out of Pharisee. Speaking heresy, it get you fucked up apparently. It's like they daring me. I said chill, they ain't hearing me. They ain't listening. Every bar nitroglycerin. Hit your heart, bring it back to start, make you live again. Get them dividends, or we start getting ignorant. I be on that soldier shit. I told you shit phenomenal. Nah, but he a domino. So what you suckers trying to do? Rhyming comical, guess it's funny until I'm bombing you. Bring apocalypse to them pussy niggas that's popping this shit. Team of all-stars, I coach them up like I'm Popovich. Fuck the politics and the lobbyists and apologists. They vagina, so we gon' check them like gynecologists. It's kinda obvious how the situation is ominous. The way I vomit this and regurgitate for the audience. They start applauding this cause the competition is fraudulent. From the era where niggas smoke you up like a parliament. The flow been stupid, shit has gotten retarded since all the dominance of one West rising to prominent. Cause I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. They want a nigga quiet, mute my maneuvers, but I ride like I got Groupons for Uber. Rhymes hard like they been viewed by Medusa. 9 milli Luger, 17 in the Ruger. Only need a few to sit up in your medulla. Obligata for the regatta niggas wildin', they win every dollar. They riding by in black Impalas, let the semi holler. A showstopper, been this proper since a teeny bopper. But now I'm growing them off Patron, a premium of vodka. I put extensions on the Glock, modified the chopper. The swore heavy, war ready, and that's working mama. No marijuana, say I got the loudest silence on it. When I'm up on it, ain't no rapper do it like I do it. A lot of spitties and writers, but when they heat's on, none of them can get to the fire. Around with me, and I had them niggas spin like a tire. But down the D, and I'm still dope as a piper. Every bar burn hard like a spoon with a lighter. Fuel to ignite, I'm winning, coming through with the title because UP. I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me.
Test 1, 2. 2, 2, 2. 2. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. The Lord said, confession good for the soul. So right now,
All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I wasn't danger.
All right. Clap it up. One time Christ. Shalom, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Baruch Thumb to the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shema Alathun Ba'Hashem Yahushua to the sisters. I'm priest and officer 500 Yerashima from the Isupk. All right, with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding Junior Yohana. We're not affiliated with any other Israelite group, nor any other Christian organization. All right. So what we're going to do, let's see. So today's topic, right, we're going to get into the titles of family members, right? All right, we're going to get into the title of family members and things around the household, all right? So on our previous lessons, we were learning about numbers, right? We were learning about numbers and the, how can I say, scripture numbers. Like, for instance, when you're reading the Bible, right, and you're studying the Bible, when you're reading the Bible in English, when you're looking next to the verses and scriptures, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc., right? But in the Lashawan Qadash, you're not going to see that. In our previous lessons, we went over that. In our language or in our culture, we didn't write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like we know today. The actual letters of our alphabet actually has a numeric value to it. All right. So every letter in our alphabet has a alphabet. Alright. It's like our letter in our alphabet has a numeric value to it. It's like it. Alright. It has a numeric value to each letter within the alphabet. Now, let me see, making sure we're up on the YouTube and Facebook real quick. Salakia. If anyone can type in, make sure they hear me as well. Or if you can't hear me or you can't see, just let me know. All right, and we'll fix that accordingly. All right. Let's see. Let's see if we're up on the YouTube. Yes, we are. Let's see. Let's see if we're up on the YouTube. All right, so I think we're good to go. All right. So today's lesson, we're going to talk about the household things, and family members. We're going to learn nouns. All right. So there's a process to everything. So when it comes to learning a language, right? Today is the Lashawan Qadash class. All right. Every Friday of the week, we hold a Lashawan Qadash class, which means holy language. Right? It's a language. It's the Hebrew language, meaning holy tongue. All right? The Hebrew language is the holy tongue, which is considered the Lashawan Qadash within the actual Hebrew. All right? So if you are so-called Black, Hispanic, or Native American, it's time for us to come back to our culture. It's time to come back to our heritage. You know what I'm saying? It's time to come back to our traditions. You understand? Before we came to America, right? Enslaved ships, right? The transatlantic slave trade. Before we were brutally raped and murdered and sex trafficked and lynched on trees, right? Before we were picking cotton and sugar cane, right? We had traditions of our own. We had a heritage of our own, right? We had a culture of our own. To this day, we think that we're African. We come from Nigeria and Ghana and all these things. And we're almost everything. Ask any Black, Hispanic, or Native American who they are or what their nationality is. You're going to get 10 different answers from different people because we truly do not know who we are. No thanks to America, no thanks of us discontinuing ourselves from the culture of the Lord. And the Lord wants us to come back to that, right? The Lord wants us to come back to his laws, statutes, and commandments, which are our traditions, our culture, and our heritage. And so with that being said, part of our traditions and culture and heritage is what? A language. We had a language of our own. We spoke a language. Before we spoke English, Creole, Patois, Spanish, right? Portuguese. Before we spoke these languages, we spoke Hebrew, right? We spoke the Lashawan Qadash. And we always teach and we have to understand too, do not think that learning this language is null and void. Don't think not studying this language means nothing. Because, first off, the Most High speaks Hebrew. Christ spoke Hebrew. The disciples spoke Hebrew. Paul, everyone loves Paul in the Christian church. He spoke Hebrew. All right? Even go into the Old Testament, which is still the Bible. Elijah, Jeremiah, Isaiah, Malachi, Micah, Obadiah, Zephaniah, Zechariah, Malachi, if I haven't said it, Malachi, King Solomon, King David, you know what I'm saying? Joshua, Moses was a prophet. The priests and prophets of the Lord in the Bible spoke Hebrew. Because Hebrew, the Bible was first written in what? In what language was the Bible even written in? It was written in Hebrew. All right? This language, this Bible comes from a certain race of people or another nation of people. And that's our heritage as so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Hebrew is the language of so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. In most cultures and in most countries, if you do not speak the language of your forefathers and you do not speak the original language of your people, sometimes you're not even considered to be a part of their people. Prime example, the so-called Chinese man, which is the nation of Moab, and in the Lashawan Qadash is Mawa'aba, right? They are big on that, right? Most countries are, by the way. Most nations and races of people are very big on you speaking the language. It comes to the point where you speak English outside of the home, but when you enter that house, it's all whatever they speak. And the so-called Chinese man, right, is big on that. The Chinese people are so big on that. Literally, if you do not speak Mandarin, I believe that is the language of the Chinese, right? If you speak Mandarin, right, and it's like if you do not speak Mandarin, you are not considered to be from China or Chinese or whichever quote unquote upper Asian country you are. You know what I'm saying? You're not considered that. They'll look at you like they will say, "Oh wow, you're Americanized." You know, they'll call you an American. They'll even kind of shun you out of their little group or their little clique that they have. You understand? You'll probably find that in high school, college, somewhere. You'll have a group of Chinese people speaking to themselves in Mandarin, and then you have other people that look Chinese, and they most definitely are, but they don't speak that language, so they're hanging out with maybe Jakes, like so-called black people, or they're hanging out with, Becky or someone. You know, they're just not with the other people speaking Mandarin. That's the point. They actually separate themselves if you do not speak the language of their forefathers. You know, their ancient language or their language of their people. It's very important. The East Indians do it. The Africans do it. A lot of other races of people do it. Well, so-called black man and so-called Hispanic and Native American man, well, congratulations. You've learned today that you actually have a language of your own. You have a heritage and a culture of your own. You know what I'm saying? It's very important. There's a scripture in there's a scripture in the Bible, right? There's a scripture in the Bible. If I can get it, like if I could. In Zephaniah, right? So right here, right in Zephaniah, this is in the Old Testament. This is the priest and prophet of the Lord that spoke Hebrew, right? And Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 9, right? And it says, for then will I turn to the people, right? So it says, for then will I turn to the people. What does it mean to for then when I'll turn to the people? Who are the people? The people are talking about, so the people that the Bible is talking about are the Israelites, which are so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right? That's who the Israelites are. When you read this Bible, if you believe in the Most High power, let me explain this very clearly. If you believe in God, and you believe that there is a God, and you wear a cross around your neck, all right, and you consider yourself to be a Christian, Baptist, Pentecostal, 7 Days Adventist, right, Jehovah's Witness, whatever you consider yourself, and you believe in the God of the Bible, even some Muslims, right, that study Islam, they believe in Christ. They believe in the Bible, especially in the Nation of Islam. They believe in the Bible, and they believe in a God. So if you believe in God, just understand this. God is only for, right, the Bible is only for so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And God is only for so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Because these people are the children of Israel. That was our race before we were beaten down brutally and murdered and transported on slave ships in period blood and feces and urine for 7 months or more out of a time to just get to an America, right? Before all of that, we were known as Israelites. We were known as Jews. And the Lord said, for then will I turn to the people, which is you, which is us, so-called black man, Hispanic and Native American man, right? To the people, the so-called children, not so-called, the children of Israel, which are the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. To the people, a pure language. What is the Lord said, I will turn to the people a pure language, meaning he's going to give these people a pure language, right? A pure language. What is it? What is a pure language? Well, first, we have to understand, what does it mean to be pure? What's the definition of pure? We're going to I'm bringing out this scripture purposely to give a true definition, right? And a true understanding of how important it is to learn the language of our forefathers, to learn the language of the power of the God that we serve and that we say we love so much. This is why it's so important. So I'm going to give the lesson in the spirit behind why it's so important to learn this language, which is the Lashawan Qadash, which is the Hebrew, right? So what does it mean to be pure? Well, we're going to get the definition. When it comes into the black, Hispanic, and Native American community as well, sometimes when we look at a word, we think we may know the meaning to it. But sometimes these words, and most words in any language, have more than one meaning to it and can be used in different ways. Well, guess what? It's very important when studying something and understanding something is to get the definition of a word that you may not know, especially if you may not know the word. And if you know the word, because you have to understand the context and within the word that is being used. Now it says pure, right? Pure, the definition of pure, unmixed with any other matter, right? Free from dust, dirt, or taint, free from harshness or roughness, and being in tune, right? Characterized by no appreciable alteration or articulation during utterance, being thus and no other, abstract, right? Not directed toward exposition or reality of solution of practical problems. Like, okay, this is the definition of pure. By that, what does it mean to be pure? Is to be different. Is to be separate, right? Is to be clean. Is to be holy, right? Pure. It's not tainted. It's not altered with this. This is the Hebrew. The Lord said, I'm gonna bring thee, or turn to the people a pure language, meaning A language that's separate. A language that's completely clean, untouched. This language is special to these race of people. A pure language. There's a reason why the Lord used the word pure there, right? A pure language, right? And what's a language? Of course, it's something that you speak. So this language that we speak is pure. It's separate. It's clean. It's untouched. It's non-tainted, right? That's why we call this language the what? The Lashawan Qadash, which means holy tongue. Holy means separate, all right? And it says, "For then I will turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of the Lord." So with that being said, in order to, so that they may, right? So the Lord said, "For then I will turn to the people a pure language." Is that pure language English? No. Is it Spanish? No. Is it French? No. Creole? Patois? What language is this? No. This pure language is the Lashawan Qadash, the Hebrew language. It can't be any other language. It can't be English. Did Christ speak English? No. Did Paul speak English? No. Did the Israelites speak different languages? Yes. But did these people speak languages? No. They spoke either Hebrew, which was their main language, and then Latin or Greek. Right? Times to come, by the way. So with that being said, what is this? It says pure language, which is the Lashawan Qadash. Then it goes on to say, the Lord goes on to say that they may. What does it mean that they may? Right? What does it mean to may? As in to do something, right? He's giving us this language to do a specific thing. He's giving us the Lashawan Qadash. He's giving us the Hebrew language, right? For us to do a certain thing. It says that they may all. Who is the all? That they may all. All is referring to who? The children of Israel, which are so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? It says that they may all, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the children of Israel, call upon the name of the Lord. So he's giving us this language, right? He's giving us this language, the Lashawan Qadash, the Hebrew language, so we can call on him. Listen, there's a reason why we tell so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that are in these fake Israelite camps, or whatever the hell they want to call themselves, is damn near the Christian church. There's a reason why we keep saying his name is not Yahweh. His name is not Yeshua. His name is not this, and his name is not that either. We may use these names either in a battle to cut someone. We may use these names for teaching purposes, like Jesus or Christ, or the Most High Power of God, for teaching purposes. But we will never say those are their actual names, because the Lord gave us a language specifically to call on his name. If you say I'm calling the name of Yahweh, I don't know who the hell you're calling. I apologize, because that's not Hebrew. That's not the pure language the Lord said he was supposed to give everybody, which are the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So like it. I don't want anyone to be confused when I say everybody. All right? To so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Americans. That's, if you say Yahweh, who the hell is Yahweh? That can't be the God of the Bible, because the Lord gave us a pure language to call upon his name. While you're in that Christian church and you are running around foaming out of the goddamn mouth, so like it for this rude language, but I may be rude in speech but not in knowledge, right? While you running around foaming at the mouth in the Christian church talking about Honda, give me a Honda, all this other stuff, right? You're not calling on the name of the Lord in his pure language like the Bible tells you to. First off, I don't know what language you're speaking, running around like I don't know what you're talking about. What are you doing? I don't know what you're talking about. What is it? What are you saying? And then you're speaking English. And then if you're in a Spanish church, like some church maybe called Ebenezer, right? And you in a Catholic church, because a lot of our Hispanic brothers are Catholic. Nope, it's still Christian, right? Christian Catholicism, same thing. Tomato. No one really says tomato, right? So it's the same thing, right? Our Spanish brothers in the Catholic Church, when they're speaking Spanish and they're saying hey, Jesus, right? Or de Dios and things like that, and they're trying to call on the name of the Lord. That's not the name of the Lord, right? You're not. He's looking at you like, what is like? Just think about it. Not to be funny, but think about it. The Most High is just looking at you like, what? What is he saying? Ooh, that's not my name. You know what I'm saying? You know how? Like, think of this is a black man's book, by the way. Do black people like being called out their name? Name me one black person in America or around this earth likes to be called out their name. I'll wait. You won't be able to find it. You won't be able to tell me. Because the reason why I said that purposely is because Jakes, so-called black Hispanics and Native Americans are the main ones that come out their mouth saying, you better not call me out my name. That's not my name. You better call me what I tell you to call me. Well, guess what? The Lord is black. God is black. And he doesn't want to be called out his name. That's why he gave out a pure language. All right? And the Lord is his name, okay? And he said that they may all call upon the name of the Lord. So we can call on the Lord in the Lashawan Qadash, in the Hebrew, right? So while we're keeping his laws, his statutes, and commandments, we're also speaking our language, right? We're also, in these laws, statutes, commandments are what? Our culture. So while we're speaking our language and doing our culture, and we're actually calling on the name of the Lord in the pure language that he gave us, which is Hebrew, he can finally answer us. Because he said what? To serve him with one consent. So we can actually serve him in one's consent. Meaning all together in unison with no separation. We're all on the same page with one consent. When you consent to something in one consent, that means you guys have one goal and one focus, which is to serve the Lord the way the Lord needs to be served in this context, right? If you come into one consent in the basketball on the basketball court, right? In basketball, what do? You make sure you guys are on point and you guys are doing exactly what the hell the coach told you to do, and you do not veer off from it. If not, you're going to lose. You're going to lose the game. Well, guess what? Serving the Lord is the same way. We have to be in one consent. We can't be separated. I can't be a Baptist here. I can't be a Methodist here. I can't be a 7 Days Adventist here. I can't be a Pentecostal here. I can't be a Muslim there. I can't be a Sunni there. I can't be an El Hajj there. I can't be a Buddhist there. I can't be a GOCC here. I can't be a GMS here. I can't be an IUIC here. I can't be that. I can't do all this because the Lord is completely against it, even in the language that we speak. Even in the language that we speak, the Lord don't play that. The Lord's not with it. But all right, we're gonna go ahead and get some things on the board, right? All right. So we're gonna get some nouns on the board. All right. So remember, today's class is going to be about family, learning the names of family members, and also what you'll see in a household, like plates and cups and things like that. Let me know if y'all can see the board clear. Just let me know. So if I gotta make any adjustments, I will. Alright, because then we'll get to it. Yeah, that's perfect. Alright. All right. So what I'm gonna write on the board, right? When you see on the board as we speak, or as I'm writing, you see a ASSY. That's short for Assyrian. All right. The Assyrian script, right? In the Lashawan Qadash, the Assyrian script I call it, or it's like I call it. We call this the modern day script. Reason being is because it's what's going to modernly be used and what's mostly seen today. So when you're reading the Hebrew and learning the Hebrew, and if you get a Bible in the Lashawan Qadash, or like a book that's written in Hebrew, right? This is what you're going to see. But to the left, you see PALEO, which is paleo, which is referring to the ancient script, which is referring to the ancient Hebrew, meaning the writing style of it. You have an ancient text, and then you have a modern text. Same language, all pronounced the same, okay? But just written in different time periods, all right? One is due to our captivity, which is the Assyrian. We were in captivity with the Assyrians. And so due to our captivity with the Assyrians, our language kind of changed up when it came to the writing style. All right? And that happens just like over time, the way we used to write, even in the paleo, the way we used to write our letters and how we wrote it and things like that, that changed over time too. Same language, the letters look very much the same, all right? Just different writing styles, all right? Not everybody writes the same. You can speak English, but not everyone writes their R's and K's and Q's the same, all right? It's almost in that context, all right? So the first word we're going to learn is family, all right? We're going to get family on the board, all right? All right. All right. So, all right. So what we have on the board here is the word family in the Lashawan Qadash, all right? What we have in the Lashawan right here is family, all right? Family. How to say family, right? Now we're going to start from on the Assyrian side, okay? This right here is your ma, right? Is your ma. Usually you'll see that little dash up there. All right. But this is your ma, right? So right here is your ma. So like not ma, but ma. All right. So this is your ma. So in the Lashawan Qadash, in the Hebrew language, we have a constant sound, right? Which is like an ah sound. So like ah. All right. So in most of our in our language, right, it's very easily pronounced and is really easy to learn because there's a constant sound. We don't have a whole bunch of vowels in there changing up how certain words sound, and not all of them sound the same. Because of vowels, and because the white man's language is so non-pure and completely touched in so many ways, LGBT and all that other stuff, the language is kind of hard to understand. Like for instance, 222. It sounds the same, but they're completely spelled different, right? In our language, there are words that will sound the same, right? Spelled the same though, right? But mean different things, all right? It happens, but it's very easy. It's an easier language to learn than English, all right? Sometimes there's a better example in some cases. I'm trying to think of a word where it just doesn't make any sense at all. Literally, they're spelled the same, I believe. I think they're even spelled the same or pronounced the same way. And I'll think of it later if it comes to me. But the English language, man, it's sometimes very confusing. It's known on the earth that English is actually one of the hardest languages to learn. So right here is ma, right? This is your ma, right? This letter right here is your sh. So this is what your sh looks like. I also have it underneath your ma and your sh in the English as well. All right? So this is what your ma looks like. This is what your sh looks like. This is what your pa looks like. This is your pa. This right here is your cha. All right? Your cha. All right? Your cha. Cha. Right? Cha. All right? It's almost like you're trying to cough up a loogie or you're trying to spit. Like that is cha. All right? You know how, back in the day in school, we used to make fun of people that used to speak like the Russian language or the Lithuanian language, and we were like, oh, it's not to that extent, by the way, right? It's not to that extent, but it's very similar, okay? It's not the same. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to be like, oh my God, this language is the ha-ha language. No, it's not the ha-ha language, all right? This language is a pure language, right? And it's Hebrew, and this is the way it's written and the way it's pronounced, all right? But this letter is called cha, all right, or cha, all right? So think of you just coughing up a loogie. And then this letter right here is ha, right? Now, if you put all this together, it's mashapacha, right? Mashapacha. Mashapacha is family. So if I say mashapacha, you'll know he's talking about his family. Mashapacha, right? Mashapacha. Now, the question right here is, why is this ha here, right? But it's not making that ha sound. I'll give an example. All right, an example that you could probably see, right, on this side. Okay, you have your ma, you have your sh, your pa, your cha, and your ha. Mashapakha. Mashapakha. Your ma, your sha, your pa, your cha, and your ha. Mashapakha. Down written right here. Mashapakha. Now, if you can see what's written right here, right? I'm going to rewrite it so it can be seen, so I can teach something real quick. Very important lesson, actually. Ma, sha, pa, cha. Mashapakha. Mashapakha, right? Now, you're probably wondering, there's ha right here. Why is that not pronounced? Why is it not written out like the rest of them in English? And why is it not pronounced, right? Well, technically speaking, it actually is pronounced and it is written, right? If I got rid of this ha, right? Let's say I just get rid of this ha, right? And I get rid of the ha at the end of that. First things first, right? I completely changed the word, right? The word over here is what? Mashapakha. That cha, right? It's pronounced mashapakha. But if I get rid of that ha, it's mashapakha. It's pronounced mashapakha if I get rid of that ha. That ha is what gives it that cha, right? If I get rid of that ha, I can't say cha. I would have to say what? Cha, right? It's still an ah sound, but it doesn't. But that ha gives that cha emphasis and cha. That's why I always teach. It's very important to understand the pronunciation of these words, because if you are saying it incorrectly in the Lashawan Qadash, you could be telling me a different word. If you come up to me, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit of a stickler when it comes to Lashawan Qadash. You know what I'm saying? That's because the brothers above me taught me to be a stickler of speaking the language. For an example, when we're in the Sabbath service and we're saying the prayers, are we? These are brothers for brothers in the school or that have been coming to the school, young men and troopers that have come into the school. When we're doing the Sabbath service, right? You see the Isupk holding the Sabbath service. If you have ever seen when you hear us say a word incorrectly, we repeat it, right? To make sure it's pronounced correctly and said correctly, right? No different here. No different on a daily basis, right? Because it's very important to know what you are saying to the Lord. When you're giving a prayer in the Lashawan Qadash, you want your words to be said correctly so he can answer your prayers, so he can listen to your prayers, right? Well, guess what? When you're speaking to people in the Hebrew, you want to make sure they understand your words and you're not saying something different. If Masha Pacha was in the prayer and you said Masha Pacha, the Lord's not going to know that you're referring to family. He will look at you and be like, you said mashed potatoes. You have no idea of what that, you know what I'm saying? Like, just by not pronouncing that letter within that word, you completely change the context of that word. You completely change the word entirely. But back to it. Masha Pacha is how to say family within the Lashawan Qadash. Alright? We're going to get the next word on the board. Remember, we're learning about family members, and we're going to get to household things. If we don't get to all of them, which we should, we'll continue the class next week on Friday. We'll make sure we're not gonna hold anything out. We're gonna make sure everything is, taught. All right. If you have a question on a word, or you would like to know something, Just let us know. Okay, perfect. Most High in Christ, I can actually see Most High in Christ. All right. Next, we're going to get is Father, right? Father. Let me bring that down some. And let me center it for y'all. Make it easier to understand. All right. What we have next is Father, which is Abba, right? Abba, 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 not Abba, right? How would we make this a Abba? We would have to add the what? The ha at the end, right? So it's not Abba, it's Abba, right? In the prayer, we say this word all the time, which means Father, like Abba Nawa, Shabbat Shemayim, right? Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, right? It's in our prayer. So, Abba Nawa, right? So, Abba, this is your Ah. This is what your Ah looks like in the Assyrian script. This is what your Ba looks like, right here. Right? This is what your Ba looks like. Right? Now you have, right? I put the Ah and the Ba at the bottom of each one so you can indicate, right? So we can indicate which letter is which. Alright, so there's no confusion. Alright? Put that all together, it's Abba, right? Which means father, right? Abba. So now you know how to say father, right? So if you know everyone has a father, if you know your father or you see someone as your father, you can refer him to as Abba now, right? Abba. It's Abba is actually used a lot in almost everywhere, but they got it from the Bible. They took it from our language. You may have seen this before written. You may have seen it written like this. All right. See right here, that ABBA. You may have seen it written like that. You may see people's names like that and other things. You know, who knows? But they took it from the Lashawan Qadash, and in the English it's actually spelled AHBA, Abba. All right, so Abba, which means father, right? Father. So here's as well in the Paleo, right? You have your A right here, and you have your Ba right here. Abba, right? Abba. So, I'd be like, hey, Abba. I'm talking to my father. Hey, Abba. Excuse me, Salaki, can I speak to you? Hey, Abba, right? So, Abba, which is father, right? Abba, father, Abba, father, all right? So, Abba, right? So, Abba is father. Since we know father, next we're going to see how to say what? Mother, right? We're going to learn the titles of family members. We're going to go over mother, father, mother, brother, sister, and auntie, uncle, all right? All right. Next we have is Amma, right? Amma, all right? Amma, not Amma, right? Amma, right? Amma, Amma, right? Make sure you don't use too much of a at the end of that because you're changing the word, all right? So Amma, right? This is your right? This is your ma, right? So this is your this is your ma. This is your this is your ma. You see how I kind of did that? Right? And then ma, and I say ma, I try not to use that too much because technically it's pronounced ma. It has a sound to it. There's still a constant sound to it, all right? So ma, amma, right? Amma is mother in the Lashawan Qadash. So we all have mothers, right? We also consider people to be mothers, right? Now you can refer to her, instead of saying mother now, you can say Amma, right? That's my Amma, right? My Amma. Or, actually I won't say that because that's a little advanced. But my mother, right? Actually, well, a little bit. We'll get to that lesson, right? But we're going to do the basics first. But Amma, right? So, my Amma. You are my Amma. Amma, come here, hug me, kiss me, make me food. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. All right. This is your right? This is your in the paleo. This is your ma, also in the paleo. Put it together is Amma. Amma, right? Amma. Amma is mother. So Abba is father. Amma is mother. They kind of sound they're very close together due to the fact that They're just the opposite of each other. All right? Mother, father, like boy, girl, man, woman, that type of concept, right? So, Amma is mother. Amma is mother. Amma is mother. All right? All right. So, after mother and father, we're going to get son, and then we're going to get daughter, right? When mothers and fathers get together and they like each other, they make sons and daughters. All right? So let's get that. The title of son, and then the title, which is daughter. All right? We're going to get son first. All right. So now we're going to get son. All right. Son. And after this, we're going to get daughter. So if you have a son, you can refer to him as this. All right. All right, which is bond. All right. So to say son in the Lashawan Qadash, it's bond. All right, bond. Bond is son. All right. Bond is son. All right. Bond is son. Bond is how you say son. All right. So we have your ba right here. This is your ba. And right here is your na. Right. You have your ba, and then you have your na. Your ba and your na. Bond. Right. Bond. Bond. All right. Like bond yasha Allah. Bond. Bond. All right. Bond. B-A-N. Bond. Bond is son. All right. Also in the paleo, you have your ba right here and your na right here. Put it together. Bond. If I did not mention this in the beginning, right? The Lashawan Qadash, the Hebrew language, is written from right to left. Okay? From right to left. We write it in the English from left to right so we can learn it and understand it and get a little bit of an understanding of it, right? Because, we have to learn this language. So, bond, B-A-N, bond. That's how you would say son. Let's get daughter. All right. So what we have on the board now is Banah, which is daughter. All right, Banah. Right, Banah. Very similar to son, right? Son is what? Ban. Daughter is Banah. So if you have a son or a daughter, you can say, I have a Ban and a Banah. Right? I have a Ban and Banah. Right? Ban or Banah. Nah. So, in Lashawan Qadash, right? In the Assyrian script, right? Which is your modern script. This is your ba, right? This is your ba. This is what your ba looks like. Right? It's like, what about like? This is your na. This is what your na looks like. You'll see this in the Assyrian. You're going to see this written like this. This is what your na is going to look like in the middle or in the beginning of a word. Alright? Your na is going to look like this only in the beginning or in the middle of a word. Alright? Then you have your tha, right? Banath. This is your tha. Put it together, Banath, which is daughter. Banath. Right? Banath. Once again, this is your ba. This is your na. This is your ba. This is your na. This is your tha. Banath. Banath. Alright? Banath. Banath. Banath, which is daughter. Alright? Now, the next word is going to be what? It's going to be children. Because your son and daughter, your son and daughter are what? Children. Your son is a what? Child. Your daughter is a what? Child. Together they are what? Children. Alright? So first we're going to get child. Right? We're going to get child. Alright? Very sloppy to me. Alright. So now what we have here is Yalad. Right? That's how you would say child in the Lashawan Qadash. It's Yalad. Alright? Yalad. Yalad. Alright? So this is your Ya right here. This is your La right here. This is your Da. Yalad. Put it together. Yalad. Right? You see in the English, right? Underneath each letter. Put it together. Yalad. Right? Yalad. Right here in the paleo. On this side. This is what your Ya looks like. Alright? This is what your La looks like. This is what your Da looks like. Right? Put it together. Right? Your Ya, your La, and your Da. Put it together, you get Yalad. Yalad, which is child. So if you want to be like, hey yo Yalad, come here, like acting to a child, like, hey yo Yalad, come here. Right? Or, Yalad Ba'akam, which is saying, come here in the Lashawan Qadash. Like, Yalad Ba'akam, B'Bukashah. Come here, please. Right? That now you know how to say something, right? You know how to say child, Yalad. Right? Like, hey child, come here. Or, hey yo kid, come here. Same thing. Kid, child, same thing. Right? Hey yo kid, come here. Hey yo Yalad, come here. Make this is our language. Right? Like if you're from up north, right? If you're from up north, Philly, Jersey, New York, and things like that. Growing up, I knew nothing about Hebrew. I knew nothing about Hebrew. I knew nothing about the Bible like that, nothing. But when I was around my family, right, all the adults would be like to other people, hey yo Ak, come here. Hey yo Ak, hey yo Ak, come here. Ak, Ak. I didn't know Ak meant brother in Hebrew. I just knew Ak was that Negro over there. That's what I thought. You know what I'm saying? Everyone would just call each other Ak. Like, hey yo Ak, hey yo Ak, hey yo Ak, hey yo Ak. You know what I'm saying? I never knew until I came into the truth that it came from Hebrew. So if you go up north and you hear people, hey yo Ak, what's up? You may think that they're Israelite, but it's just a common thing that we say because it's our language, it's our culture, it's our heritage. We've been saying it forever. Like we say, like brother, we've been saying Ak this entire time, and it's been adapted into our everyday life when we speak. So make these words that you're learning into your everyday speech. Like, hey yo Yalad, come here. When you're talking to your son or your daughter, Yalad, come here. Make it into like an everyday thing, like Yalad, come here. So like now we're gonna get children. Because when writing in the Hebrew, there are ways to pluralize words. Alright. There's a way to do it. All right. So what we have on the board now is Yaladium. All right. Yaladium. That's what we have on the board now. It's Yaladium. So right here, this is your Ya. Right? In the Syrian script. This is your Ya. This is your La. This is your Da. This is your Ya. This is your Ma. Right? I wrote each letter underneath. If you put that word together, Yaladium, Yaladium. So Yaladium, Yaladium. Alright? So Yaladium. Alright, Yaladium. So in the Paleo, you have your Ya, your La, your Da, Yalad, right? Yalad. So you pronounce it Yalad. It's connected together. Then your Yum. So Yaladium. Yaladium. Right? So Yaladium. Yaladium. Right? Yaladium. 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 Like Yaladium. Which means children. Right? So if you be like, hey, these are my Yaladium. Right? Right? Well, you wouldn't really say it like that, but say, hey, like if you're trying to call some kids over, Yaladium, come here, right? Or hey, Yaladium, come here. Or hey, Yaladium, chill out. Or hey, Yaladium, quiet down some. Right? Use it into your everyday speech. Make it seem normal. You know what I'm saying? That's how you practice. The Bible talks about rehearsing the righteous acts, right? You always want to, it's all about repetition, right? When you learn a word in any language, it could be Spanish, Portuguese, Mandarin, Tagalog, whatever language you're trying to learn, sometimes it's going to be half whatever language you're learning in the language you already speak. Like some people that are learning how to speak Spanish, they don't know every word in Spanish, so they mix English and Spanish together. People call it Spanglish, but it's almost like that. For the moment, you're not going to know every word in Lashawan Qadash. So the more you practice it and the more you study it and the more you add it to your everyday language, the more it just becomes a norm. The more you can be like, Iladium, Ba'aka'an, Babukashad, the water, all that. I won't say por favor. I almost spoke Spanish. But Slakia. It happens when you try to speak different languages at once. But, it's more, you'll start to get repetitious, you'll get more fluid with it. You may even develop an accent. It happens. Some people pronounce this Yaladium, but I say Yaladium. There's a little bit of an accent there because I'm always saying it and repeating it. And the more you speak this language, the more you're going to develop like a weird accent. All right? So Yaladium. Yaladium. All right? Even if you have a, let's say if you're, give you guys ideas, what I did in my own house, I labeled things in Hebrew, so not just so I can learn and see it on an everyday basis, so my children can learn too, so they know, oh, that's how you say door, because my children speak English, but Hebrew is their second language. For an example, my son, not so much my daughter, but my son, he's 2 years old. My bond, right? My son, right? He's 2 years old. He does not answer to English. Okay? If you see my son at Passover and he's doing something bad, please know Hebrew because he's going to continue doing the bad thing that he's doing. You would physically have to pick him up, right, and probably toss him outside because he's not going to stop doing what he's doing unless you say Qadash, which means stop. Right? He won't move, trust me. He'll look at you like you're crazy and still break whatever he's breaking. All right? So that's what I do. All right? Same thing, you know, in my, like, for instance, in class, in the Sabbath service class, we say Yeshabyim, which means to sit down, pluralized for everyone to sit down. Yeshab, just by itself, singular, is to sit down. My son will not listen to you. If you tell him to sit down, he will look at you like you're crazy. He'll be like, what language are you speaking? Not saying he doesn't know English a little, but because we spoke Hebrew so much, he only knows sometimes, if I say Yeshab, he knows, oh, stop what I'm doing and sit down. You know, things like that, you want to add it into your everyday speaking. All right? All right, next we're going to get brother. All right. So what we have here up next is Ak, right? It's Ak. Ak means brother. Now, if you heard or paid attention how I said it, I had like a little bit of an emphasis, right? I had a little bit of an emphasis on the k at the end. So I said Ak, Ak, right? Not Ak, but Ak, right? Hey, yo, Ak, right? You kind of see that. I didn't say Ak. I said, oh, I did say it. Salakia, Ak. That's because of the Cha, right? That Cha at the end of that has like a K sound. So like K, Ak. That, you know, that Ak, or that Ak. You hear that little echo? K. Like, you know, Ak, right? Ak. All right? So, Ak is brother in Lashawan Qadash. So, Ak, right? Ak. Right? So, this is your A. This is your Cha. Put it together is Ak. Brother. Right? Ak. Right here in the Paleo, this is your A in the Lashawan Qadash. Right? Then this is your Cha in the Lashawan Qadash. Put it together, it's your Ak. Right? Your Ak. which is brother. Ak, which is brother. Ak is brother. All right. So if you have a brother, right, you can be like, hey, that's my Ak right there. That's my Ak. Right. And so it may sound weird at first, but the more you say it, the more he's like, that's normal. What you mean? That's my Ak right there. Right. That's my Ak. That's my brother right there. That's my Ak. You know what I'm saying? That's my brother. All right. Everyone also has their choose a learning, I shouldn't say a learning path, but everyone learns differently, right? You know, most blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, we're more so visual learners, and we have to do things over and over again. Not because we're slow, it's because we're smart. We know that in order for us to master something and to be good at something, we have to put our hands on it, right? And actually see what's going on, right? And then keep doing that in order to do well at it, you know, to get the thing done, right? You know, the so-called white man, our oppressor, believes throwing you in a desk and a chair and teaching you about whatever he's teaching you, let's say energy, right? And he expects you to know everything about energy. But if you never physically seen energy and tried to harness it itself and try to actually do the calculations, you're not going to know nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of this, like the so-called white man school system, fails black people a lot because we learn differently from them. They can go to school and know all about energy and talk to you about energy, but never touch energy. That makes no sense to me. How can you know about energy, but you never really harnessed energy yourself, or at least worked something with energy type deal? Like, for an example. So choose a way that you learn that's best for you and keep repeating it. I was more so like a visual, hands-on. I was taught by Officer Haza'ab and Officer Marah in the Lashawan Qadash. And so everything that they taught me, I would write it down, right? I would write it down. I would ask questions, write it down, and I would say it to myself every day. I'll be down the street just saying stuff in my head, right? People thought I was going crazy. They're like, what is this dude talking? He's speaking a different language? Was it witchcraft? Like, you know, people thought I was crazy, but no, I was practicing and rehearsing my language. The Bible talks about rehearsing the righteous acts, all right? Very important for so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to learn the language of their ancestors, to learn the language of their forefathers. It's very, very important. All right. Find an ambition to learn this language. You know. My ambition, next we're going to get is how to say sister, right? My ambition to learn this language at one point really was because I seen other races of people have a language of their own, right? And they would be able to converse amongst each other in a different language. And you know how black people are. We're like, man, they probably talking smack, right? They're probably talking this. They talking hella stuff about us right now, right? That was my ambition. I said, you know what? I want to learn this language so I could talk smack about people in a different language and they wouldn't know what the hell I'm talking about, right? Like that was my ambition, right? And so I continued to study just to talk smack, right? Not saying I actually did, but that was like one of my ambitions. I seen other races of people able to converse amongst each other, and they were able to understand each other. It was like a different type of feeling because I seen them speak English, but then when they got around their people and started speaking their language, it was a total different vibe. And I wanted that for myself. So Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shah for commanding to the Yohana, right, for giving us this truth. All right. So next we're going to get is sister. Alright? Sister. Which is akwa. Alright? Which is akwa. This is what the same thing. So now what we have up here is sister. So brother was Ak, right? Like your brother. You know, we grew up with brothers and sisters, right? Like your brother. Then we have your sister. We have sisters, right? How do you say sister in Lashawan Qadash? It's Akwa, right? Ak is brother. Akwa is sister. So if you want to say this is my sister, you will say this is my Akwa. Right? This is my Akwa. Like it. So next time, if you see your sister or someone you consider your sister, you're like, hey Akwa, come here. Right? Or hey Akwa, come here. Can you come to the store with me or something? Akwa. Right? It's Akwa. So this is your A. This is your A. This is your Kha. This is your Wa. This is your Tha. Akwa. Right? Akwa. Right? Akwa. Put it together. Akwa, which means sister. Akwa, sister. Same thing on the other side, written in the paleo. This is your A. This is your Kha. This is your Wa. This is your Tha. See it written at the bottom. Put it together. Akwa. Akwa, which is sister. Akwa. Alright? Akwa. Alright. Akwa. Alright, we're on track. Alright, let's run across. Alright. Next we're going to get how to say husband. Alright. We're going to learn how to say husband in the Lashawan Qadash. Then we're going to learn how to say wife. So, what we have here is how to say husband, right? Husband. What we have on the board is Ayash, right? Ayash, Ayash, right? Ayash, right? This is your A, but this is your A right here. This is your Ya, this is your Sha. Put it together, Ayash, Ayash, all right? Ayash, Ayash. Ayash is husband or man, right? They mean the very same thing. So when you see man in the scripture, it's saying Ayash. When you see husband in the scripture in the English, it's also Ayash. Because husband and wife wasn't really the terms that we used, right, in the Lashawan Qadash. We never said this is our husband, this is our wife. That was just a translation to separate man to husband, as if there's a difference, all right, or matching the gender to it, if it makes sense. If I'm making sense, if I'm making it clear. So in our culture, which we do it now, right? When you have sex with someone, right? You guys consider yourselves what? I guess boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever. And y'all say, this is my what? My man. And then he says, this is my what? My woman, right? In the Israelite culture, when we have sex, sex is marriage. I become your man and you become my woman. Husband or wife. So that's the breakdown of Ayash. All right, so Ayash. Ayash. Here we go in the Paleo. This is your A. This is your Ya. This is your Sha. Put them together. Ayash. 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 All right. Ayash. That's how you say husband or man in the Lashawan Qadash. All right. Now we're going to get wife, which is Asha. next what we have here is wife, which is Asha, right? It's lucky, I keep hitting that. Asha, right? Asha. It's not Asha, right? Because there's a ha at the end of that. So it's Asha, right? Asha, all right? Asha. So right here, you have your ah right here, your sh right here. It's like I'm blocking it. Your right here, your sh right here, and your ha right here. Put it together. Asha, right? Asha. Asha, right? Asha, which means wife or woman, right? Right? Or woman. Let me. Women is plural, so let's not confuse anyone. All right. Ashawa, but all right, Asha. Right, Asha. So what we have here, you have your ah right here, your sh right here, and your ha right here. All right, Asha. Right. I put the ah underneath so no one gets confused, so we know exactly what we're talking about. All right, and put it together. Asha. Asha. Asha means wife. Alright? Asha is wife in the Lashawan Qadash, or woman. Right? So if you want to say this is my woman, you would say this is my Asha, or this is my wife. This is my Asha. Right? My Asha. That's my wife. Asha. Alright? Asha. Alright? Let's see how much time we got left. I know we're coming up on the time. Alright, we got one more word we can fit in there. Alright. Yep, we got one more word we can fit up in there. Still from the family side. Alright. I'll train of thought there for a second. Lock you. Right? It's uncle, Dawada. Right? Dawada, uncle. Now, before we go any further, I want to break that down a little bit, alright? I want to break it down a little bit, alright? So no one gets confused, alright? Break it down a little bit so no one gets confused, alright? Okay, Dawada, Dawada. This is how you say uncle in the Lashawan Qadash. Now, if anyone knows Hebrew already and studies the Lashawan Qadash, you know Dawada is also how you say David in Hebrew. Dawada is David, right? Now, does David's name mean uncle? Not exactly. Okay, this is how our language works. Some words within our language can also be somebody's name, right? If you did not know, a word in our language can be a name, an actual person's name. Like for instance, most languages are like that. Like the language, let's say it's Japanese, right? If you watch anime or anything like that, or watch old karate movies and things like that, those names that you hear people say, like, I don't know, one that everyone knows, Sakura, right? Sakura. There's Japanese stores named Sakura, right? There's Japanese restaurants or stores named Hibachi, right? These are actual words within their language that mean something, but those also could be somebody's name, okay? Just like in our language, a word, Dawada actually means beloved or friend, right? Like someone that's beloved, someone that you love, someone that you're close to. So most people are close to their what? People are close to their uncles because they're family, right? Right? They're close to their uncles, so this is their family. So in the Bible, since we know this man, we love him, we beloved this man, we're going to call him Dawada, right? So, hey, Dawada, can you help me? All you're saying is, hey, uncle, can you help me? Depending on the context of how this word is used, the meaning is totally different. So if I say, hey, Dawada, can you help me? I could be saying, hey, uncle, can you help me? Or if this man's name is actually Dawada, like King David, like Malak Dawada, I would be like, Shalom, Malak Dawada, how are you? Can you help me? Something along those lines, right? Makes sense? I hope everything makes sense. So this is your da, this is your wa, this is your da. Put it together, Dawada, right? Dawada means uncle, right? Dawada, right? Dawada, Dawada, not Dawada. So like I may have been saying that because I'm thinking of the next word next. It's Dawada, right? Dawada. So your da, your wa, and your da, your da, your wa, your da, Dawada, right? Dawada. It's like a Dawada, Dawada, which means uncle, Dawada. It may sound like I'm saying Dawada, but it's actually Dawada. It has a or a sound to it. Our language has a sound. All right. So Dawada is how you say uncle. All right. Next, what we'll get. If Dawada is used, right? Dawada is used to say uncle, right? So, how do we say auntie or aunt? It's Dawada. Alright? Dang, I didn't mean to erase all of that. No worries. This is a perfect example of why it's important to know how to pronounce the words correctly, because you could be saying something completely different. Alright, so this is a perfect example. Alright. This is a perfect example. Right? So this is how you say aunt, which is dawada. Now, dawada is how you say uncle, right? Dawada is how you say uncle. It's only the da, the wa, and the da. So da and the wa and the da, dawada, that is masculine, right? The masculine version, right? Uncle. In most cases in the Lashawan Qadash, you can make a masculine word be feminine by putting ha at the end of it. Alright? That's like a rule. So dawada is masculine. When we put a ha at the end of it and pronounce it as dawada, now it's feminine. That's why it's important to understand dawada and dawada. Because one is masculine and one is feminine. You want to be like, hey yo, dawada. You're calling him an auntie. You're calling, you're referring to him as a beloved or someone that's close to you or loving to you, but in a woman's perspective, like in a woman's way, and that's not right. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're referring to a man. Our language is quote unquote gender related, from man to woman. Most languages are like that, except for the English language at times, quote unquote. Most languages, there's a certain way you have to speak to a man or speak to a woman or speak to an elder and things like that, especially in Spanish. You know what I'm saying? They have rules in Spanish just like that. So this is your da, your wa, your da, and your ha, dawada. Put it together, dawada is aunt, dawada. Right? Dawada. Same here. This is your da. This is your wa. This is your da. This is your ha. Put it together. Dawada. Alright? Dawada. And it's aunt. Dawada is how you say aunt. So dawada is uncle. Right? And dawada is aunt. All right. If you have any questions, you can ask. For time's sake, we're gonna stop there. For time's sake, if you have any questions, just type it in either on the YouTube or Facebook. Also check in as well. Alright, let's see. Alright. Give it some time. If anybody has any questions, just let me know. It could be a scripture. It could be a word that you would like to know in the Lashawan Qadash. Alright. Alright. I don't see any on Facebook. Let me check. I don't see any on Facebook. Let me check. Okay. So we're going to get the announcements. All right. We are the ISUPK. Start out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. All right. Rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Ma'ashera, which means tenth in the Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Also, we have Cash App, and if the Cash App ain't there, we also have on our ISUBK website, it pops up automatically. It takes you to isubk.org and put in a donation, and you can make a note of tithes being paid by such and such, such and such. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations, which would be the Feast of Dedication. The Feast of Dedication is on December 9th. All right, it's this month. I believe it's next week. All right, it's a very good class. Of course, we recommend to attend. It teaches you about the Maccabees. It teaches you about the Greek captivity, how so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans were in Greek captivity, and how the Greeks forbidden us to be who we are. All right, we couldn't even consider ourselves Jews and Israelites. It was a bad deal. All right, so come to class on that day. It will be a great lesson. All right. With that, we'll give a salute to the brothers, men of Israel. Amadim Shabbat, Amadim Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Brakatham. Right, Amani Mathah. We'll give a salute to the sisters. All right, men of Israel. Amadim Shabbat, Amadim Barak, Yahweh Shema Alatham Ba'ashem Yahushua.
Yahweh Shema Alatham Ba'ashem Yahushua.
Yani Matah. Class dismissed.